ASMR Magical Tools. Hello, welcome back. This is going to be your crystal scrying for the week of the February 24th through March 3rd. March 3rd. And before we get started, I would like to use this very fluffy brush to dislodge and brush away a lot of the negative emotions, bad feelings, dark thoughts that you might have been having for the past week. Okay, how does that feel? Yeah, it's a very soft brush. Yeah, you could use it for loose powder. I don't really wear a lot of makeup. We'll do a couple of light triggers too, and get that good lateral eye movement started. As you know, probably, can you see that okay? Is this one better? Yeah, maybe I'll use this one. Okay, so lateral eye movement is the key to EMDR, eye movement desensitization and retraining. And you don't have to strictly use all of those techniques to get the benefits of them, right? So was you asking the question. But if you want me to tell people that it's you asking the question, then I can do that too. I'm not sure what kind of oil this is. It's one of my mystery flavors from the Bearded Lady. It has little shiny things inside the bottle kind of sticking to the side, but I don't think you'll be able to see that on camera. It's very faint. It's very faint indeed. Just let the wax drip into the water, and then we'll read it later. Oh, that's very loud. Sorry. That's my neighbor opening the door and closing the door. Alright, so I think that is pretty good for now. And then I'll set it off to the side, and we can read it later together. So for scrying today, I have this slab of plasma agate, and it's just a thin slab. You could use it for making capuchons or something like that. But you get a lot of good visibility of the striations. You can see all the different little parts of it. And I'll be using this for scrying today. Using, of course, also my mystery oil. let's look at the ephemera for the week ahead. We're going to start on Wednesday the 24th. The moon is going to be in Cancer until about 4 or 7 in the morning, and then the moon will enter Leo, so the moon's going to be in Leo for most of the 24th. By the time we get to the next Wednesday, the moon will be in Scorpio. Scorpio, 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 Scorpio. So after the moon enters Leo on Wednesday the 24th, remember Sun is in Pisces now, so we have Sun and Neptune in Pisces. The moon is going to quincunx the Sun in Pisces. In the evening, most of the placements on Wednesday are going to take place in the evening, either 5 to 7 p.m. or 7 to 10 p.m. So, the Sun in Pisces is good for creativity, it's good for open-mindedness, and the moon in Leo is good for, like, creative energies, but it's bad for gossip, so just kind of keep those things in mind. But, now that Mercury is direct again, you can start new projects, and if you wanted to, this would be an excellent time to start a creative project. There's going to be a trine between the moon in Leo and Chiron in Aries. So that'll be good for healing all those parts of yourself that start projects and then don't finish them. We have a square between the moon in Leo and Uranus in Taurus. So, Uranus and Taurus, again, being that energy surrounding joint assets. A lot of people determining the outcome of a certain property. Also, people working together for mutual comfort. And being squared by the moon in Leo, it might be that you require space to work on certain artistic projects. It can also, like I said, moon in Leo can be about gossip or hidden drama coming to light. So when that is about joint assets, that can get kind of complicated, but a square is also an energy that can spark action. So think of it that way as well. It's an opportunity for things to change. We have a trine between Mars in Taurus and Pluto in Capricorn. So this Pluto in Capricorn is a very kind of stoic, solid, slow energy. It's a death energy, but it's also just very, like, rooted in concretion. Pluto and Saturn are similar in a lot of ways, not quite the same though. Pluto can also be a transitional energy. This could be a job transition for some of you. And especially because we have that Mars in Taurus trine. So Mars in Taurus is about what is going to bring me comfort, what is going to bring me stability in my life. And because that is a trine placement, it Saturn in Aquarius, groups of people being established, so it could be drama coming up in cliques. But it doesn't have to be strictly like that. You could also think about Congress and the cliques in Congress and how drama might be cropping up there. So I use kind of flippant terminology, but it can relate in several different ways. There's going to be an opposition. So Mercury's direct in Aquarius now, and there's going to be an opposition between the moon and Mercury, and that's going to be the first placement on Thursday the 25th. Again, moon in Leo can be a very creative energy. Mercury in Aquarius is all these new ideas, so I take this opposition to be less like it's a negative aspect and more like it is an aspect which is going to push for change. Now, because this is in the overnight hours, this might not be affecting you in the same way as it would as if it were during your daily life, but there might be very vivid dreams that reveal things to you, creative epiphanies, and it might lead to new energies as far as your social groups are concerned and the people with whom you are working on projects. Then Venus is going to enter Pisces. Venus in Pisces is a very fluid energy. It's a lot to do with intuition of romantic feelings, and also related to finances. Don't forget about Venus's relationship to your finances, but things being very fluid, being very flexible. Some things are going to be ending so that new things can begin. Moon in Leo is going to be in opposition to Jupiter in Aquarius also. So, again, a lot of the things that we've been talking about, except that with Jupiter, it is wealth and expansion when it comes to groups. So, a continuation of those energies. The Sun in Pisces is going to sextile Uranus in Taurus. This is a good, because Pisces is a very empathic sign, this will be a good step toward everyone getting the things that they need at this time. Moon in Leo is then going to quincunx Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces is a lot about the higher power and the relationship to the higher power. So there might be hidden things coming out about your creativity. Moon in Leo can be very creative energy also, and can also relate to childhood or childish things. So there might be new revelations. There's also a sextile between the moon in Leo and Pluto in Capricorn right after that. Or quincunx, sorry. Right after the Neptune quincunx will be a quincunx with Pluto in Capricorn. So all of those energies kind of floating around together, and that will be on Friday the 26th. Again, Pluto and Capricorn energy, there can be some change, but there can also be some things that are very stuck in that energy. So this quincunx might lead to a pushing through of some of those energies. The moon is going to go void, of course, and square Mars in Taurus. And again, squares can be seen as difficult placements, but you can also look at it as an energy for change. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You can look at it as an energy for change coming through. Placements that are in tension promote change. Placements that are harmonious promote that energy remaining. We have a full moon on Saturday, the 27th, and the moon will be in Virgo by then. On Friday, the moon in Virgo is going to be in opposition to Venus in Pisces. Virgo is a very analytically minded energy, analytic, detail-oriented, and so the flexibility of a Venus in Pisces energy might cause hidden discomforts to come to the surface as it relates to these more detail-oriented mindsets. There's going to be a sextile. Why do I keep saying sextile? There's going to be a quincunx between the moon in Virgo and Chiron in Aries, so healing any impatience, striving for perfection over the need for convenience, and a trine with Uranus in Taurus, so kind of reinforcing this detail-oriented energy in groups that have to do with joint assets, group-owned property, details, and analytical thinking, bringing to light hidden things about these arrangements. There's going to be a quincunx with Saturn in Aquarius and the moon in Virgo. So this will be the energy of action then, as related to that Saturn in Aquarius placement. Moon in Virgo can definitely be about hidden things coming to light because you're looking at the details, but it can also be putting the details into a creative project that you might have started when the moon was in Leo. So there's a carry through of energies there. Saturn in Aquarius, so group establishments. There might be a pecking order that gets disrupted at this time. And some of these placements are going to end up being on Friday, and some of them are going to be on Saturday, depending on if you are on the East Coast or the West Coast of the United States. And then, of course, your local time will be different if you do not live here in the United States, but I always kind of use my position globally here on the West Coast as the framework for my ephemera in these readings. Saturday the 27th, so there will be an opposition because it's a full moon. The full moon will be either at 12:17 in the morning or 3:17 in the morning, depending on, again, which coast you live on. And my neighbors are coming and going all day. I'm very sorry. I hope that's not too loud. I might see if I can find a way to make it less loud. Less loud, less loud. Virgo being very detail-oriented and Pisces being very flexible, those two energies are definitely opposed to each other in many ways. It might be a very uncomfortable time for some of you. We have a quincunx then between the moon in Virgo and both Mercury and Jupiter in Aquarius. Not that those two are conjunct, but just that, like, Mercury being about these new ideas, and then Jupiter being about wealth and expansion. And it could be that there is a lot of analysis of hidden details that brings these things to light in groups or as it relates to new ideas. And there comes some kind of action because of that. Then finally on Saturday, there's going to be an opposition between the moon in Virgo and Neptune in Pisces. So really kind of a lot of the same things that came from the opposition with the sun in Pisces, but Neptune is much more focused on the higher power, and there can be elements of sacrifice there, self-sacrifice for the greater good. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. That's going to be later in the evening on Saturday. On Sunday, there's going to be 2 trines in the morning. The first is a trine between the moon in Virgo and Pluto in Capricorn. So this would be a good energy. This starts an opportune period that is focus and steadiness. Focus and steadiness. But that's going to start almost at 5 in the morning or almost at 8 in the morning on Sunday. And then the moon will go void, of course, and that'll be the end of that opportune period. And that'll be about 2 or 3 hours later. So it'll be a good 2 or 3 hour window in the morning if you wake up that early on Sunday the 28th. The moon in Virgo is then going to trine Mars in Taurus. So using those energies to your own benefit, to benefit your stability in life, to kind of bring all those things together. Then the moon is going to enter Libra. There's going to be a quincunx between the moon in Libra and Venus in Pisces, so this will be very good for if there's anything going on in your relationships, whether it is a romantic relationship or just a close personal relationship. This will be good for working out any disparities between you and other people in one-on-one situations. There's going to be an opposition between the moon in Libra and Chiron in Aries, so you might have uncomfortable feelings during that time about how your own behavior has affected your partnerships. But again, that's an opportunity for change. It's not like it's going to be bad. And then we have a quincunx with moon in Libra and Uranus in Taurus. And those 2 placements are going to be overnight energies into Monday because they happen so late. So for some of you it'll be Sunday, and then on the East Coast it'll be like a Monday early morning thing. And again, with that moon in Libra and Uranus in Taurus, that's going to be very good for finding parity with other people. The moon can be about hidden things coming to light. It can be about, well, I thought that it was fair, but now that I'm looking at it from this other perspective, that I realize that there are some things about this that are very unequitable, and so we're going to change things. So Monday is the 1st of March. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? The moon in Libra is going to trine Saturn in Aquarius. So there's going to be trines then between the moon in Libra and Saturn, Mercury, and Jupiter, all in Aquarius. Aquarius can have to do with groups. It can also have to do with new ideas that go against what is currently established. And the moon in Libra, again, can be about hidden disparities coming to light. energy. Saturn in Aquarius. How are these things stuck? Mercury in Aquarius, coming up with these new ideas, and then Jupiter in Aquarius, wealth and expansion. In that time, too, there will be a quincunx between the moon in Libra and the sun in Pisces. Pisces. So that sun in Pisces energy, again, very flexible, very mutable water energy, intuitive, emotional, contacting the higher power, empath type energy. So a very good environment in which to best hash out all of these things so we can work better together as a whole. The end of the day, there's also going to be a quincunx between the moon in Libra and Neptune in Pisces, so just kind of reinforcing all of the things that came up with that sun in Pisces energy. Tuesday, the moon in Libra is squaring Pluto in Capricorn, and that Pluto in Capricorn energy could be kind of stuck in the old ways, and so this square is going to be an opportunity to just kind of clear out the rest of those things. The moon in Libra, quincunx, Mars in Taurus. So now what is my place within this new framework? What is my comfort zone within this new framework? And then finally the moon is going to enter Scorpio. So then Wednesday the 3rd, we have a big day of events. Just checking my time. There's going to be a trine between the moon and Scorpio and all of the Pisces placements. So we have Venus in Pisces, we have the sun in Pisces, and we also have Neptune in Pisces. Now keep in mind that the moon in Scorpio can be about very hidden things, very dark, very hidden things. And so this trine with this fellow water energy, with Venus, the sun, and Neptune all kind of coming through, it's going to be kind of obscure, and things are not going to be very clear on Wednesday. There will be an opportune period later in the day when the moon squares Jupiter until the moon is void, of course, on Thursday, and that's going to be aided by Venus in Pisces. It's fine for anything from business to romance. So when things are not clear, it can also be easier to be flexible. There's going to be a quincunx between the moon in Scorpio and Chiron in Aries. So all of those parts of yourself that are the clearly defined parts of the self, there's going to be opportunity to kind of change some things here, because that moon in Scorpio energy is very hidden energy. We have an opposition with Uranus in Taurus, so that's going to be, again, things are very hidden. So all of this joint property, how are we supposed to administer over this? The squares. So there's going to be squares between Saturn, Mercury, and Jupiter in Aquarius with that moon in Scorpio. Scorpio. And again, Saturn moving through first, what things are really stuck about the status quo. Mercury, the new ideas. Jupiter, the wealth and expansion aspects coming through. But when the moon is in Scorpio and things are being purposefully hidden, that's another thing about moon and Scorpio energy. It's like things are being purposefully hidden. Purposefully. So that square placement is going to urge change in that sense. There's going to be a sextile between Venus in Pisces and Uranus in Taurus. Pisces is a very flexible energy to promote finance, changes in finance, and changes in romance. And with that Uranus in Taurus energy, it's good to have a little bit of flexibility considering everything else that will be going on. And then finally, toward the end of the day, Mars is going to enter Gemini. Hello, Aries. Hello. Welcome back. Let's see what Aries can expect in the month ahead. Somebody's taken a shine to you. But not just that, like an actual shine. Somebody's shining you up. Somebody's flattering you, but also that there's some aspect of this which is very reminiscent of those teen dramas in which I'm going to need much more oil because the surface of this stone is unfinished. Where they do the makeover and turn the film's protagonist from a maladept into a popular person. So there's some aspect like that as well. That this person is giving you some kind of a makeover, some form of makeover. But they're doing it because they care about you quite a bit. So there's some aspect to it that is like a mentorship in a way. But this person doesn't necessarily have to be a lot older than you. This person could be your same age or they could be younger. There's a very playful energy between you and this other person. But they don't have to be a romantic partner either. That's the other thing, is that I think for some of you, this person is just a very good friend. I'm gonna go ahead and dump some oil on the surface here. It might have been a bit too much. Let's see if I can apply some to the other side. Yeah, there we go. That'll be much better though. Yeah, okay. So in the context of your relationship with this person, I feel like it's quite equitable, and it's not that one of you is it's not like one of you is the mentor and the other person is the mentee. I feel like there's a lot of equity between you and that you're just very close friends, but in this particular case, this person's able to help you become the best version of yourself for the task at hand. Because remember, you always want to be in a constant evolution of self. don't think they're concerned about this taking you away from them either, I think. Or that you are going to then be way better off than they are and leave you behind. I don't think that's a concern of theirs, which is nice. What else do I need to tell Aries about this situation moving forward for the week ahead, taking us into March 3rd, being the end of this particular cycle, but not the end of the predictions. They gave you a present of some kind. And this present is going to be integral to your moving forward in some kind of circumstance. It's going to be the catalyst for some kind of transformation then on your part. But I don't think they planned for that to be the case. I think they just gave you this thing. It could have even been like a car or some other form of transportation, like a bicycle. It could have been an item like a loom or a camera or something that then you are able to take part in other things. And it wasn't like this was a great expense to them. I think it was just something that they had that they knew you would be able to use, and so they passed it along to you. But not that they bought it in particular for you necessarily. It's something that they probably just had around. That's really nice. It's kind of like a sweet pea kind of a smell. But there were other opportunities that were open to them, and they kind of chose you as the opportunity that they wanted to carry forward at this time. Is there anything else that I need to tell Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? I think that's it. Let's move on to the bibliomancy. So, go ahead and focus your intention on the cover of the book. And whenever your question is ready, okay. Aries, page 8. Oh, pretty far back there then. No ill luck will befall thee this week. So that's good to know. Alright, Aries, that's your crystal scrying forecast for the week ahead, starting February 24th. So I wish you the best. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Taurus. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So let's look at your week ahead. grocery store, but I also see here like the face of a bat. Bats are nocturnal and they use echolocation, echolocation in order to find things in the dark. You could be changing what time of day you go to the grocery store to avoid crowds. Especially if you have a 24-hour grocery store nearby. Yeah, there's like a swirling mass of people somewhere. I see this kind of shape of people are congregating in different places. And sometimes this might be inconvenient for you if you are trying to get somewhere at a certain time. But I think the week ahead is all going to be about figuring out the patterns in which people travel to certain places, because as much as there isn't really a rhyme or reason to it necessarily, you will find that people are going to be moving in predictable ways. And so part of that is going to be that you are able to keep yourself separate from this mass of people. Part of doing that, I always check Google Maps before I go anywhere, because they have that little graph that shows you how busy it is at any given time. And I try to use that a lot. There are other reasons why you are wanting to avoid crowds, and not just because of the pandemic. So partially because of the pandemic, but also that your empathic guard is kind of reduced. So it might be that you are less able to protect yourself from the emotional projections of others at this time. We do have Mars and Uranus in your sign right now, although at the end of this week Mars is going to be entering Gemini, so that will take some of the pressure off of you. But there are going to be some oppositions. When the moon is in Scorpio, there's going to be an opposition between the moon in Scorpio and Uranus in Taurus. I feel like there were make sure to check your other placements also. But yeah, I just feel like if you are empathic, which a lot of Taurians are, there might be difficulty. Not all Taurians, though. But that your sensitivity to other people has been and therefore you're going to be trying to configure things in your life so that you are not surrounded by people constantly. A lot of people who know you are going to be able to help you out with that too. People who understand your interactions with the world around you. Is there anything else I need to tell Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week ahead? No, I think that's it. Let's move on to the bibliomancy. Okay. Misery will be the sure portion of thy children, if their morals be corrupted by evil communication. So this could be for children that you have. It could also be an idea about your creations being tainted by the influence of others, which it would be good to sequester yourself at this time if you are working on projects from people whose motivations toward you are uncertain, to avoid this undue influence. Thank you for joining me, Taurus. I hope you have a great week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hi, Gemini. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Purple Mountains Majesty. So some of you could be taking off for the mountains sometime soon. I would imagine it would be a good time of year. Some places get very cold into this part of the year, but some places it actually starts warming up a bit again. So, depending on where you are, or maybe if you like skiing or winter sports, you might be trying to squeeze in one last trip. But there might also be other motivations for this. Some of you it could be work related, but I think most of you it probably is for pleasure. It might just be nice to get away from whatever you've been doing. I think somebody that you are dealing with, they might not have been as free and clear as you to take off, and so there's a little bit of stress surrounding this trip as to whether or not this person's going to be able to accompany you. Because they said yes, but then it's like your mouth says yes, but your eyes say no. I want to go, but I also am not able to go for some reason. But they gave you a firm and clear answer at the time when you asked them if they wanted to take this trip. Sometimes you really want to do something, but then the feasibility of it is entirely different. sacrifices. It's just that the whole point of taking this trip for you was for relaxation, and this is kind of it's kind of defeating the purpose. You could have stayed home and been more relaxed, because this other person would have not needed to do all these other things. What is the end game for Gemini here? What is the end game for Gemini? Is it better that they go on this vacation alone? Is it better that they let this person make their own accommodation? Yeah, you're gonna have to set some boundaries with this person. Because it's not that you don't want to be supportive, but the whole point of you, Gemini, taking this trip is for it to be relaxing for you. And if this person is constantly, trying to finagle this way or that way, it's going to become stressful. And so, you just need to set some firm boundaries with them and say, hey, look, here's how much of your work situation I care to know about, or I'm going to be able to give my attention at this time, because it's important for me to get the enjoyment out of this trip that I was planning. And so you might just need to set some boundaries with this person. Obviously, they are not trying to have you have a bad time, and ideally, you would be able to enjoy this trip together in a way that is relaxing for both of you. But I think you're just going to have to set some boundaries about it, and for some of these people that you're taking with you, that's going to be helpful for them, because they're going to be able to set their own boundaries with their work situation much better as well. So it's never bad to set healthy boundaries with people. What else do I need to tell Gemini about this situation? What about the ski lift? Go ahead and get on the ski lift, and then once you're at the top of the hill, you'll figure out what to do from there. So it's kind of telling you, go ahead and take the trip, take the plunge, whatever it is that you're planning to do. And don't worry too much about the ongoing circumstances, because you'll be able to figure it out when you get there. Is there anything else that I need to tell Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising at this time? Have fun. It's a time that is meant to be enjoyed. Let's look at the bibliomancy. Let's see, okay. Oh man, if thou wouldest see length of days, eschew drunkenness, gluttony, and all intemperance. So, it's just urging you to, be temperate in your consumption of food and alcohol and any other substances in which you partake for enjoyment. Just be temperate in your consumption at this time. Thank you for joining me, Gemini. I hope you have a great week. let's look into your week ahead, February 24th through March 3rd. There's some debris. So I think that there might have been a lot of changes going on in your surroundings. Whether you were rearranging around the house, possibly doing some repairs or moving things around, or possibly spring cleaning type activities. And now there is a bit of debris that is still needing to be cleared. This could have been inside too. This could have been like psychological debris that you're now going to be clearing. And you're going to be working on getting rid of that over the next week. And that's just like the final steps in this process that you'll be completing very soon. You've gotten a lot further in the time that it took than you thought you would. And you're just hoping that a lot of the sharp edges now will be sanded off in time for you to enjoy everything ahead of you. And I think you're headed in a very good direction for that to be the case. I do feel like there might be some naysayers around you, just people who are asking too many questions about things before the dust has settled, or people who are aggravating certain circumstances by like standing in the way of something, like standing between you and a doorway. That might be the case for some of you. Just kind of making things a little more difficult than they have to be. But it's not because they are trying to hold you back. I think they just lack your vision. They're not able to see these things the way that you are, and therefore they are having a difficult time adjusting to what is going to be the new normal in the situation. But you have already adjusted. You've already gotten yourself pretty much figured out, and now you're just going back and sweeping up all of the debris this week. But I don't think that these people mean you any harm, and I don't think that they're going to end up holding you back indefinitely. I think it's a situation where they will get up to speed very soon, and then they will be able to move forward with you. So it's not necessarily bad. It's just taking a little extra time that you didn't feel was necessary. What else is going on here for Cancer in the week ahead? Food drama. Some kind of food drama. Not that you don't have enough food, but that there might be a situation where you wanted to eat something in particular, and it was in the refrigerator and it had your name on it, and somebody else came along and ate it without consulting you first. So that could be something that comes up, something like that, to where it's not that there's not plenty for everyone, but this one particular thing that you had earmarked for yourself, somebody else has come along and taken, it used without consulting you, and it's going to be kind of frustrating on account of that. Again, they don't really mean you any harm. It's just a lack of foresight on this other person's part, or this other group of people's part. What else does Cancer need to know for the week ahead? Shimmering backdrop. So there might be situations coming up for you where you end up being slightly shinier. Your appearance is slightly shinier than the people around you, and it helps you stand out in situations, and that is going to stem from all of this work that you've been doing to clear things out of your life. All of the spring cleaning that you've gotten done is going to be it's going to show up in your external presentation as this kind of shimmer, kind of like there's a shimmering background behind you, that your aura is just a little bit more radiant this week. Cancer, what else do I need to tell you about for the week ahead? Do not drop an opportunity. So Cancer's a water sign, right? Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. I feel like there is going to be a opportunity, and it might have to do with water, or it might be based around water, or it might be based around the fact that you are a water sign. So it might also have to do with emotions, but there's going to be some kind of opportunity for you this week. So the moon is going to be in Scorpio starting on the 2nd and going into the 3rd of March. And it might be occurring during that time. There's also Venus is going to be entering the sign of Pisces, and that's going to happen on Thursday, the 25th. So when Venus goes into your fellow water sign of Pisces on Thursday, the 25th, that might be the opportunity as well. There's going to be a few things going on this week that might lead to that. So just be mindful and be aware and be prepared for those things to occur in your life. Is there anything else that I need to tell Cancer about the week ahead? Let's move on to your bibliomancy. Go ahead and focus your questions and your intentions into the cover of the book here. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to turn to the page and tell you long life depends greatly on temperance. Remember, temperance is not just patience. There is an art to it as well, an art of balance and ministrations. the side of my pointer finger. I did that with a screwdriver. That's it for you this week, Cancer. I hope that you have a great week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Leo. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So, let's look at what your week ahead is going to be like February 24th through March 3rd. March 3rd. Springtime. Springtime is in the air. It might not quite be warm yet where you are, but I think that these energies of springtime are already coming in, and that there will be indications for you that we are heading into spring, whether it is birds singing outside, it could be plants that you notice, it could be an energy of renewal and longer days, it could be any number of these things, but there are like indicators of spring that are going to be coming in for you this week, and you are pleased about this. Some of you who have Leo moon or rising signs might be celebrating a birthday this month if you are a sun sign, Pisces or Aries. And so you might be looking forward to that. But I feel like specifically to Leo, there's something about springtime energy being in the air, which is going to encourage renewal for you, and is going to make you feel like yourself again in some ways, but like a new version of yourself, a shiny new version of yourself coming in. That anything that's been stuck is gradually going to start moving forward again. And so for you, that could encompass a number of different things, but specifically related to the springtime energies coming in for you. You might be going on more hikes, you might be spending more time outside. There might be even tasks that you need to accomplish that are related to springtime. And so you notice that this time of year is coming in for you again, and all of the things that it entails. And what about this week ahead? Do I need to talk to Leo about still? Are there any more things that I need to tell Leo, sun, moon, and rising about the week ahead? More people are going to be out and about. Even though we are not totally this is going to be people you might not have met before. And people might be coming together in ways that they didn't previously. And so you will be seeing that as well. You will be seeing interactions with people you wouldn't have met otherwise. Is there anything else that I need to talk to Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising about for the week ahead? No, let's move on to the bibliomancy. So remember to just direct your question into the book here, and I'm going to turn to a certain page, and then I'm going to read you your fortune. Be not dismayed if misfortune should overtake thee. She will not long keep thee company. And I think that's key for the time ahead. I think you are headed into a time when a lot of different things are going to be happening, and a lot of different energies are going to be around you. And so none of them will necessarily be staying for very long, but you're headed in a good direction forward to the future. Thank you so much for joining me, Leo. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Virgo. Hello, hello, hello. Let's look at your week ahead. Let's look at your week ahead for February 24th through March 3rd. Something about skipping engagements. We're going to skip the engagement and go right to the wedding, maybe. And this doesn't have to be a romantic partnership. This could be about you sign the contract and just jump right into it. There's not a negotiation process. Now, if you see something and you know that it's what you want, no questions asked, that's one thing, but it's important to always read the fine print and make sure that when you're entering into a business contract with somebody, because a marriage definitely is a business contract, make sure that you are reading the fine print. Are they going to make you sign a prenup? Is there something involved in this that you have not anticipated? Okay, so make sure that you're looking into it. Don't just jump from the engagement right into the marriage, or skip the engagement, jump right into the marriage. Something about fossil strength. So, fossil watches, I guess, back in the 90s and early 2000s, they called them fossil watches because they were retro looking and they were supposed to be really strong, and they would come in tins and stuff. So when they talk about the strength of fossils, you're talking about these things that were once living and have been lithified, not lull yourself into a false sense of security, but I'm something about fossil strength, so old and so strong. The people around you might be getting really worked up about how everything is right now. There are a lot of things going on in America right now that are that we would like to believe are outside the norm of possibility, and people are very and reasonably upset about some of these things, and I think that you are going to be expected to keep a cool head at this time and not feed into that frenzy, but rather have a calming influence on the people around you and speaking on these things from a logical standpoint, so that if you're in a group of people and they start having this conversation about how horrible things are in the world today, it's important for you to be able to talk them back down again and de-escalate the situation. And that doesn't mean that you have to detract from what they're saying. You can say, yes, that's the case, but we can do these things to move forward, and actually we here are in a really good place right now, and we need to be grateful for that. When it happens, be grateful for your blessings. And even though there are a lot of people out there right now who are suffering, there are things that we can do about that, but sitting around and talking about how terrible everything is not doing those people a service. So I think that you're going to be expected during this time to play that role. And something else is that you're going to be given the resources to do certain things, and it's going to be important for you to be able to act. So make sure you're reading the fine print, but also be ready to act. Is there anything else that I need to tell Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? Give in to your grace. Give in to your better judgment and your grace. Something about steam cleaning. So steam cleaning is very much the physical equivalent of smoke cleansing, in that you're fumigating with cleansing agents. There might be something that you end up steam cleaning, especially if you have problems with breathing or allergies, that you might be doing steam cleaning during this time in order to alleviate a lot of that. Is there anything else that I need to tell Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising? Well, it is spring, so spring cleaning. You might be doing spring cleaning. Wash your pillows, flip your mattress, stuff like that. Alright, let's move on to the bibliomancy. And I'm going to pick a number, and then I'm going to turn to that page, and I'll read you your fortune. sun revives the flowers of the field, so wilt prosperity in thy business make thy heart glad. So that's a good message for springtime, as the flowers are growing in the field, so your prosperity will grow. Thank you for joining me, Virgo. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Libra. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. So I think some people are moving into the building. Hopefully it will not be too loud. Let's see what we're looking at for next week, Libra. There might be some organization going on. Booksellers, an organization of different vendors. So, you might be somebody who does retail business online, or you might order a lot of things online. But this could have to do with your own supply chain as far as groceries are concerned. It could have to do with just different things in your life where you order things or buy things. There might be some changes in the way that you do things. You might be trying a new grocery store or ordering things through a different vendor. And it might simply boil down to availability of certain things. Like, it might be that this one store used to carry this one thing that you would always use, and then you would just do the rest of your shopping there because it was convenient. And it might be that they discontinue carrying those things, or they discontinue a service. And so you end up going to a different grocery store. Or it might be that there were some people there that, for some reason, made you uncomfortable. It could also be that, you find out that your friend works at this other grocery store, and you start going there because your friend works there. There are a few different situations that might apply to you specifically. But as far as which one is specific to you, that's for you to decide and decipher. Something's going to get pulled from the wreckage. Hopefully this won't be an accident that you are in, Libra. But something is going to get saved from the wreckage. So it could be an accident, but it could also be just a metaphor for, especially if you are running an online retail business, it could be that someone else's business gets gutted and they have a clearance sale, and you end up buying a bunch of stuff from their clearance section for your own business. And so that would be pulling things from the wreckage as well. So it could be a destructive thing, but it doesn't have to be super destructive. destructive. There's a certain chaos aspect for you in the next week, that things are going to be a little bit unsettled, and you're going to be gleaning your successes from this instability. Now, keep in mind that the moon is going to be in Libra starting on Sunday night, the 28th, and through Tuesday morning, the 2nd of March. So keep that in mind moving forward, because that's not going to necessarily affect all of you the same way, but it's important to look at, and you can listen to the general ephemera and get an idea of how it might relate to you. Porcelain handcuffs. So this idea of being trapped, but not really being trapped. Like, I'm in these porcelain handcuffs, in that you can break out easily, but then they are destroyed, and it's very obvious that you have slipped your bonds. Could be a metaphor for a delicate situation. It could be that you are asking for certain things, and they are being denied by you're getting like a lot of soft no answers. And because it's like a soft no, you hesitate to sever that business tie, because you feel like at some point a soft no could turn into a hard yes. That could be part of it too. But it's important to recognize when people are just trying to be polite, I guess is a good way of putting it, or when things just aren't going to be a feasible option for you under any circumstances, whether or not that person's answer would change over time. And they might figure out in the meantime a different way of doing things that circumvents your part of the supply chain, I guess, if that makes any sense. And therefore, you'd be better off focusing your resources on people who aren't going to have you wrapped up in porcelain handcuffs. Yeah, I have this little piece of leather that I'm using to burnish the surface of the plasma agate. It's not getting super shiny yet, but it does smooth out the surface a lot. You just put some oil on there and you rub it gently but briskly. Not super gently, but you rub it with a piece of leather and it starts making it very, very smooth. And it's a nice soft sound. Soft sound. is a good one. A vast empire in the west will burst the chains which fetter it. So, I'll let you take that as you will, Libra. It could be quite a metaphor for your week ahead. Porcelain handcuffs. That would be a neat spell to try. Libra, I hope you have a great week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Scorpio. Scorpio. It's good to see you again. So let's talk about your week ahead. There's like dog walking, their little feet, like walking some small dogs. So sometimes small dogs can actually be more aggressive than large dogs because of their socialization. Sometimes the smaller something is, the tougher it feels the need to be, or to project this air around itself of being quite the rough customer, but actually being quite harmless. So there's an attitude shift that's going to be taking place when it comes to a judgment of your character around you. And it's going to be related to something that you said or did quite some time ago, but that people were taking it to mean one thing when actually you meant something quite different. And it's like, are you posturing in some way? Well, no, you're really not. I think this is one case in which you as a Scorpio have been quite straightforward, not just about who you are, but how you are representing yourself in this particular situation. But I think a lot of people have taken for granted that you would be misrepresenting yourself in some way, either trying to make yourself appear bigger than you are, or inversely trying to make yourself appear smaller and less threatening than you actually are. But you haven't done either from your point of view. You have merely been putting the energy out there that you are able to back up. The energy that you are coming with is the energy that you are backing, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you've been putting aggressive energy out there, right? Because if you seem intimidating to other people, you might have actually been putting energy out there in a very friendly kind of a way, but it might have been perceived to be aggressive. If you are as likewise, if you appear a certain way to others that is maybe less intimidating, this action that you've taken might have been construed as being an idle threat or something like that, even if it's not, even if you're actually like, well, no, actually this is how it's going to go. Actually, in actuality, the truth of the matter is closer to what you are putting out than your projection is reflecting back to you. And this week, I think things are going to be getting closer to that. So the moon will be going into Scorpio on Tuesday the 2nd. But actually, this is a matter that might be coming up under the moon in Libra. So slightly before, and it might have to do with Venus going into Pisces as well. So go back and listen to the ephemera at the beginning of the video if you want to know more about that. They didn't come all the way out here to pick roses with you or for you. Somebody is going to feel the need to meet with you in person about something. And everything will be getting resolved to some extent at that time. I think that it'll make it much less complicated if the two of you are able to meet face to face about this. Because there's not this weird game of telephone going on where it's difficult to tell what the truth is and whose motivations are getting caught up in the middle, because everybody's always got to have some kind of opinion about everything. It's just ridiculous sometimes. Is there anything else that I need to tell Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? You're gonna come out the victor. I don't know if that means like there's a right answer and a wrong answer, or there's necessarily a winner and a loser. I don't think it means that there has to be a winner and a loser. I just think that you're gonna be coming out victorious in this situation, and hopefully there's enough victory there for everyone to get part of it, right? Alright. Let's look at the bibliomancy. So, focus your question right into the cover of the book. And then I'm going to pick a page. And then I'm going to read out to you the answer. To ensure recovery, the patient's mind must be kept in a cheerful mood by the conversation of those who are most beloved. So make sure that you're surrounding yourself with your support systems at this time. And be sure to call upon those that you are closest to when you need emotional support. That's what they're there for. That's why you guys keep each other around. Scorpio, I hope you have a great week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Welcome back, Sagittarius. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. have February 24th through March 3rd. That is Wednesday to Wednesday. Ophin is a type of resin. It's often used in incense. So that might be something that comes up for you this week. If you need a specific kind of incense, check out Ophin. I don't have my phone over here because I don't want to get distracted, but you know how distracted I can get looking these things up. That might be something that's relevant to you this week. Garfield hates Mondays. Why does Garfield hate Mondays? It's because it's the day that John Arbuckle goes back to work and he can't just have food whenever he wants it or get John to do things for him whenever he wants after the weekend. There might be a situation like this coming up for you this week. Maybe you've been staying at your parents' house and they've been cooking for you and helping to keeping their own house clean, and so you've been helping them keep the house clean, but you haven't had to clean the house necessarily. Or maybe you had a partner staying with you for a certain amount of time, and now they're either going back to their house or something. They have to go away for a while to do something else, and so you're kind of missing the way that cookies crunch when they're around. Like, there's that song from Sesame Street that Ernie sings when Bert's gone. He's like, when Bert's not here, the cookies don't crunch. And he gets all really melancholy about missing his friend, missing his partner. So it might be something like that. It could be another situation where you have a symbiotic relationship with someone, or even some aspect of your routines is dictated or aided by, like, I know that this radio news program starts at a certain time, so I set my alarm for that time on that radio station because I know I'm going to wake up and it's immediately going to tell me what's going on. There could be something like that. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, the programming changes and they put smooth jazz on during that time, and you end up late for work because the smooth jazz doesn't wake you up the same way the news does. Garfield also likes lasagna. But what is it that he likes about the lasagna? Cats are not supposed to be eating a lot of people food, and especially I think garlic can be really harmful to pets. So I'm not sure why Garfield likes lasagna so much. I guess sometimes people like things that are not good for them. And it could be that there's a period of time where you are finding refuge in things that are not necessarily good for you because John Arbuckle is not there to tell you not to eat the lasagna. This could be inverse too. It could be that somebody is falling victim to their vices because you aren't there to help them see the error of their ways. everyone's benefit. It's just that in this particular time, everyone's going to end up making some adjustments just because of some particular changes. It's kind of like a hard reset going on for you this week, Sagittarius. That's what people dislike about Mondays. It can be kind of a hard reset after the weekend. At my last job, I found a way around that, which was that, first of all, our work week was Tuesday through Saturday, and secondly, you could work overtime on the weekends. So if you are working overtime on the weekend, then you never have to go through that hard reset. Then the hard reset comes when your body crashes. But it's not going to be like that for you this week, Sagittarius. I think it's just going to be an eye-opener and let you know either how someone else has been relying upon you too heavily, or how you might have been relying on someone else too heavily, and it will help you figure out, moving forward, how to have a more healthy relationship with each other in that regard. Have a healthier relationship with your alarm clock, for example. That maybe instead of going to bed at 3 in the morning, if you have to be up at 5 or 6, that you find ways to reset your internal clock so that you go to bed earlier and you don't have to have the alarm clock be so aggressive to get you up in the morning. That's just an example, though. I certainly am not trying to pass judgment. I definitely have had my share of nights where I laid in bed until the sun came up. Just chillin', just straight chillin', not getting any sleep whatsoever, so I'm still working on that myself, so I'm certainly not judging you. Let's get some words of wisdom out of the Bibliomancy book. So, direct your question, if you will, right here, and then I will pick a page, and I will read to you. If thou art truly wise, thou wilt not spurn rural felicity. What does that even mean? So, when they say rural felicity, what is that painting? It's by Manet, and I think it's called Le Déjeuner sur l'Aure. And it's a bunch of dudes, and then this one lady in the foreground who is totally naked, and they're all having like a picnic and chilling. So I think what that phrase is trying to say is that rural felicity is like that kind of a vibe, like a Manet painting where you're out in the countryside taking in the fresh air, possibly in the nude, and so it's important for a long life that you find a way to integrate that into your routines, into your way of being. Thank you for joining me, Sagittarius. 4th through March 3rd. A dark and tempestuous ocean inside your heart. That's so beautiful and melodramatic. Get caught red-handed, showing feelings of an almost human nature. You know, this last year was probably pretty intense for a lot of Capricorns because there were a lot of planets there in your sign. Well, now all of those planets except for Pluto have moved into Aquarius. And even this week, Venus, which was in Capricorn not too long ago, is moving into Pisces. Pisces. Might leave you feeling a little forlorn and left behind, Capricorn. But think about all of the things that happened in 2020. It's a good opportunity for all of us to move forward together, right? So if you're feeling a bit melancholy or blue, just take a chance. Take a chance. Oh God, we have another Abistan over here. Relax. It's really not that serious. It never is. You are serving looks. So even though on one side you might be feeling a certain way, I don't think you're letting it slip. Not letting the mask slip. Pluto in Capricorn is going to be forming some placements this week, so you might want to listen to the ephemera to see what's happening there. But just to go into it a little bit, you know, Pluto being the outer planet, wasn't assigned originally in the original. When I talk about the old-time religion, I of course am referring to cuneiform records. But going back before Pluto was visible to man. So, on the one hand, Pluto is very old, but on the other hand, Pluto is very young. So, there's a dichotomy to the energy of Pluto. There is also this there are aspects of death, so there are parts of Pluto that are very like Saturn. Aspect-wise, Saturn is associated with the color black, and in some ways, Pluto is a higher octave even of Saturn. In other ways, Pluto is a higher octave of Mars. Almost like a harmonic between Mars and Saturn. easy to forget that Pluto hasn't always been there. That's part of it too. It's like Pluto comes up behind you and says, "Oh, but why are you startled? I've always been here." Not letting the mask slip. There's this book by Robert Chambers, and some of you who are familiar with the series True Detective might have heard of this book called The King in Yellow. Now, I don't know much about that show other than I think Matthew McConaughey was on it. But I do know about The King in Yellow. It is this book that is about a play. And the play cannot be revealed in its entirety, or the audience, the actors, the director, everyone involved in it will all go mad. The person who wrote the play went mad. And there's supposed to be a sigil, I think, that keeps you safe from this madness. All of it is very convoluted. Now, in my own opinion, I don't think that Robert Chambers was like the strongest writer, but what he was attempting to do is really cool. So if you get an opportunity to read that book, I would say that it is worth perusing. It's very short, and I don't think it's that expensive to buy the book. It might even be available online as a PDF, but I haven't looked into that. And only fragments of the play are given in the book, of course, because if you were to read it, you would go mad. But part of it is that the King in Yellow has this face that looks like a mask, and the part that's supposed to really make you go crazy is when he comes out and they're like, take your mask off, and he's like, this isn't a mask. Well, guess what, Capricorn? This week, you might just be the King in Yellow. Let me see your real face. This is my real face. This is all there is. Which is a sentiment that could have Patrick Bateman vibes for sure. You want to get behind the mask, but then you find out there's nothing there, but it's a little bit different. This implies that within there could be lurking anything, with no warning on the surface. What does that mean for Capricorn this week? Just be gentle with yourself. Be very kind. I think we need to look into the bibliomancy. We'll look into the bibliomancy for some closure on the topic. Page 79. The eye of a master is worth his two hands. Well, that's very interesting. If you would pay for somebody's expertise, you might as well pay them for their labor. I guess that's part of it. The eye of a master is worth his two hands. Your reading this week is a little bit obfuscated, Capricorn, but rather than try too hard on my own end to squeeze out the meaning for you, I think it would be better that I leave you with it to puzzle over yourself. those things. The sun will have already moved into Pisces, and Venus will be moving into Pisces this week as well. There's still a lot of activity in your sign, though. Jupiter and Saturn and Mercury. So, what do I need to tell Aquarius for the week ahead? Jupiter and Mercury are not going to be conjunct until next week. So the 4th, March 4th. But Mercury will be direct. So if there has been some way in which you have been trying to communicate with others, you will be leaving the Mercury retrograde shadow period this week, where it has been retrograde for a lot of the month of February. So those of you who had birthdays, those of you who are Aquarius sun signs and had a solar return over the past month while Mercury was in retrograde, things are going to start shifting a little bit for you, possibly. They didn't ask you at what stage you wanted the pizza to come out of the oven. So, like, I guess if you had an option, you would want your pizza more or less cooked, right? More or less. Do you want it more cooked or do you want it less cooked? Well, we're not going to give you an option because we know how we like it to be. So we want the crust to be really crispy. Crispy crust, crispy crust. I hope I don't make any of you too hungry. And that leads to some decision making that takes place behind your back, and you come in later and you say, now wait a minute, that was my frozen pizza. I was going to decide. Now you've taken it out of the oven and you took a big bite out of it. Now there's plenty of pizza left, but that was my pizza and I was cooking it while you left. Yeah, I knew that it would be done at the time when I got out of the shower. You guys are doing something without me, so there could be a situation where you had an arrangement, you were going to take part in something with some other people, and it comes around and they end up doing something without you and didn't really update you on the plan. And it wasn't out of spite, it was just merely like, that's how it worked out. Sometimes things shift and you don't really have time to talk to the other person involved about what is going to be happening moving forward. It just shifted too quickly for them to have included you. And I don't think it's that you're taking it personally necessarily. I think it's that because they left you out of this part, there are other parts also that you get left out of in the long term, and that's the part that is troublesome, because maybe they really need you for those other parts, but now there's no way to go back and retrofit that experience somehow. there's some anime about an amusement park, and there was like a security shut off that they were trying to get it to shut off, and a group of 4 people has to make it all the way through this, like, it's not quite like an obstacle course, it's like a karaoke sing-off. If you know what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments. I watched it with my husband. And he would know. But it's kind of like that. All of you have to go through together and do your part. And maybe they were able to make it through the first part without you, and now they need your help. But the first couple of sections aren't that hard, so it might be something where you end up having to go through it by yourself and meeting up with them. They got lulled into a false sense of security, and then you have to make it through on your own and save the day. And that could be in all kinds of situations, honestly. There's a lot of things that it could apply to. Like a road trip. I don't think a lot of people are on road trips right now, but some kind of trip, some kind of testing. Some kind of elimination challenge. Although it probably wouldn't be that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what that would be for each and every one of you. But the good news is, so, when I was doing Libra's reading, I got this message about porcelain handcuffs, which are very easy to break, but then once you've broken them, it's very obvious and they can't be put back together. For you, I'm getting the sense of paraffin handcuffs. Now, paraffin handcuffs are a little bit easier to get out of without completely destroying them. Okay? Paraffin can be melted and reshaped to suit your purposes. You could even melt down the paraffin handcuffs and make them into a key that would open your cell door. Possibly. It depends on how stiff the lock is, right? But something that seems like an entrapment might actually end up being a tool for you. Is there anything else that I need to tell Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? Give it one deep breath, and then pull. Give it one deep breath and then pull. Let's look through the book of answers. I know that's not what it says on the cover. Okay, so I've got the number and the page location. Yeah. After rain cometh sunshine, and a certain circumstance prevents his immediate return. So, that might be relevant to you this week, Aquarius, but I'm going to trust you to understand how that fits into your own life, because this is a general reading, and crystal scrying is just kind of like that anyway sometimes. you have a great week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Hello, Pisces. Hello, Pisces. Hello, Pisces. How have you been? Let's find out about your week ahead. This is going to be February 24th through March 3rd. No, he never gave it to you. He should still have it. First of all, that could be a message for somebody specific. Look in the back of the truck. Back of the truck. Like if the truck has a camper cover or a utility box, it could be tucked down inside of the utility box. I mean, it's entirely possible that somebody has fitted out their truck so they can smuggle things inside of it. If that's the case, it might be tucked in somewhere. I think he kind of expected that you didn't have it, though. Yeah, I think he's kind of like going off the assumption that it's still in his possession somewhere. It could even be tucked like under a seat or something. So, if he were to clean the truck, I think it would be a lot easier to find it. I don't think the truck is necessarily messy, but it will be a lot easier to find this thing. If he cleans out the truck. You might want to help, but I don't think that, I think there's other things in the truck that maybe are not privy to prying eyes or something like that. But he'll give it to you when he finds it. But yeah, just like remind him. I think it's just a reminder that's needed. It's not like, I don't think you're gonna have to nag about it. I think it's just like, hey, I was supposed to get this thing. I don't have it yet. And he'll be like, oh, right, I was supposed to clean out my trunk. Yeah, they're not gonna have any left. No, it'll be fine. It's all gonna work out in due time. So a lot of things are coming into your sign now. Well, not a lot, but we've got Neptune in your sign. We have Venus also coming into your sign. And we have the sun now in the sign of Pisces. So any of you who have birthdays this week, happy solar return. You made it. That's worth celebrating. It really is. Yeah, one of the first Jefferson Airplane songs I ever heard was 3/5 of a mile in 10 seconds, which I don't know if that was a good introduction to Jefferson Airplane or not, because it's, as far as songs go, it's not very song-like. It's more like if Jefferson Airplane did like a noise track. But then on the other hand, it's a lot about like, being part of that scene. I think there are things about that particular song that are relevant to you this week. So, if you like Jefferson Airplane, I would recommend going and listening to it. 3/5 of a mile in 10 seconds. But see, that's the thing, is like the time measurements, it's like, it doesn't really mean anything. Like, what are you in a car? That's like, what? If you travel a whole mile in yeah, anyway. I guess you'd be going pretty fast. I guess that's how fast a Jefferson airplane goes. Is that kind of the deal? There's going to be a metric for how fast you go, Pisces. But they didn't write that song for me, and they didn't write it for you. That's the thing, is like, songs can pertain to your situation, but as far as like why they were written in the first place, sometimes it's completely different. And that's going to be the case for you this week. There are going to be things that are definitely applicable to you, but their original use or intention was much different than the way that you'll be using them. Get your jollies off while you can, folks. We're heading into a patch of turbulence, so there could be some turbulence ahead. That's not always a bad thing, though. Turbulence just means you're moving forward very fast through a storm. But it doesn't mean that you'll be trapped there, and it certainly doesn't mean that you're going down. Turbulence is not an indicator of a plane crash. I think if you stay steady behind the controls, you'll be just fine. Read all the packaging very carefully before you use it. If you're the kind of person who likes to just rip stuff open and start using it and read the instructions if you run into trouble, this week I am urging you strongly to read instructions before you start using something, because I think in this particular case, it's going to make a huge difference for you, a huge difference, okay? Alright, so Pisces, let's look at the bibliomancy for you. Choose right, trusty companions for thy intended journey, and no ill can befall thee. So just make sure that you keep your ride or dies close in the week ahead. Pisces, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Alright, so here we have our wax for divination. Now, we got a lot of these little florets here. A lot of little flowers floating on the surface, and they're all quite separate some independent growth and some experiences that might not necessarily translate to others. We are also coming into spring, and so one thing that happens in the springtime is a lot of places get rain, and then you see the flowers and the plants start to grow. So I think there's going to be quite a bit of that starting this week as well. As far as any yes or no answers, I am getting a faint yes, but more like a promise of the future out of this wax. I hope that you enjoyed the crystal scrying this week. I think that's pretty much all to say about the basin for now. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that you had fun. I always have a great time with you guys, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends.